Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of LFC Transfer Rooms stream live on YouTube. Thanks for joining us on the Saturday Night Club. We have a beautiful new overlay with beautiful guests, so it does feel a little bit fresh. I'm joined tonight by my good friend Matty, my former podcast host. They were the glory days, Matty, when we both didn't have children and we had time to do whatever we wanted. How are you?
Not bad. I do miss that podcast, to be honest. It was good fun being able to do that, but yeah, not bad. How are you?
Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Excited. I'm really actually quite nervous for tomorrow. Chad, how are you?
I'm good, guys. I'm good. I hope you guys had a good weekend so far.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, good. Matty, you enjoy the football today?
Yeah, I enjoyed the Luton getting a point because I put them back above Everton. That was gutted when Everton managed to get that last minute equaliser. But yeah, I've enjoyed the footy stay. It's been decent, to be honest. It's good to see Endo coming back home. I know it's commiserations for Japan, but from a selfish point of view, having Endo back's massive for us as well.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge. We're almost at full strength, apart from Salah, Bajcetic, and hopefully the elusive Thiago will make an appearance soon. But yeah, Endo coming back is only good news for Liverpool. Chad, have you kept up with the football today? I mean, I was gutted because Branthwaite, I've put him on my bench in the FPL and obviously he notched. So, I was a little bit sad with not just Everton equalising, but it was the fact that he got it.
Yeah, no, man, I haven't actually gone and watched the games. I was a bit busy today, but I saw 5-0 for Villa. They're putting the pressure on and Newcastle drawing again. Newcastle just keeps on sliding down. But yeah, I haven't watched the games, but I'm excited about the results. I mean, I'm a Villa fan. I hope that they make the top four. I just want to see them, get that journey and keep the momentum going. But yeah,
I think big games, and the biggest ones I think are tomorrow, and obviously Man City play on Monday night. I've put in here, look, from LFC Transfer Room ourselves, make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for the 10,000 subscribers. It really makes a huge difference, and there are people working very, very hard behind the scenes to bring you this content every single night, and there's podcasts, etc., great guests coming on. So thank you all and to everyone really who subscribed. So make sure all notifications are on for all future streams and videos. But thank you all extremely from the bottom of our hearts. Okay, so there we go. Happy 10K indeed. Right, so let's get on to the match preview. I'm going to link it a little bit to some quiz questions as well. So Matty and Chad, if you've not been involved, Matty obviously has in the quiz before, please do feel free at home to play as well, and I'll go through the rules in a little bit. But let's start with defence, and let's actually start with the goalkeeper, Matty, because Kelleher was I think he's made the right decision. I think Liverpool made the right decision in keeping him, but he was subject to a very late bid of £15 million to go to Nottingham Forest on transfer deadline day, which was obviously rejected. Personal thoughts aside, I think that bid was far too low. I think if you've got, the Burnley goalkeeper going for 19 million from Man City without any Premier League experience, I think Kelleher is worth perhaps a little bit more than 15 million. What were your thoughts on Kelleher? We assume Alisson's obviously going to start, but, are you happy to keep Kelleher, or would you rather have cashed in for that 15 mil?
No, I'm happy to keep him. I think we'll cash in the summer on him anyway. Probably get about 20 mil. If James Trafford, you've just literally got to reference that in any negotiations, really. But as much as I'd want like Alisson to start the finals, I think Kelleher has got that final as well to play. So it's nice of him to stay around for that. And also, just if he was to go, I think we'd then be left with Adrian, wouldn't we, as the backup? And Alisson does pick up niggles throughout the season. So in a season where it looks like we could win the lot, Kelleher, though he has been frustrating at times this year, he's not the worst backup in the world, and he always does a job. I know Adrian did play in that season. We won the league, and although we did concede quite a few goals, he still played all right, to be fair to him, played his part. But I wouldn't like to chance that again, so I'm happy he's staying around. It's worth risking, even if you got less in the summer, just for the amount of games. got 29 games still to play. So if we go away and everything, which is a lot of games, so to have him round is perfect. Really. But I do think we will sell him in the summer, to be honest.
And I think that's right, really, for Kelleher. I do think that he is a Premier League starting goalkeeper, and I think for his development, that is right for him to go as well. I think he's caught a bit of flack actually over the past season or two, because being a backup goalkeeper is one of the hardest things to do. You know, to come in and just automatically slot into that back four, and essentially be the captain of that back four. You know, they've got to be the ones who are communicating all the time. So coming into the squad in and out willy-nilly, I think you're going to, you know, struggle perhaps just a little bit. But at the same time, you know, I wouldn't wish for a better backup goalkeeper. I think if you look around the league, there's not too many better ones. And I think Kelleher does deserve a move away. And I say that he deserves it because he should be playing first team football. You know, I think it's one of the hardest things to do, Chad. And I'm not sure whether you agree or not. And to be fair, you know, lots of people are shouting about Pitaluga. I've obviously seen him for the youth team, etc. But if Adrian's ahead of him at the moment, you know, he's certainly not ready to step up either. So it seems like Kelleher is the best person to remain, isn't he?
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you on that. I think Kelleher, he has experience now that he can slot into the first team, especially when it comes to big games. I mean, we saw when Alisson got injured early on in the season. So Kelleher stepped in and played a few games in the Premier League as well as in the cup games. So he has we have the depth in that goalkeeping position where he can have trust in Kelleher to lead the back line. And I mean, he's playing behind Van Dijk and Kanata and more senior players in the back line. So it's not a thing of putting like a fish out of water kind of situation. He is in a position where he can be comfortable and play his game. Obviously, I think it was a great move for Liverpool keeping him. We again, like we said, we're going for all four this season. So getting a backup keeper and help making sure that we have a star keeper. I mean, the drop from Alisson to Adrian is a big drop for me personally, especially when it comes to playing the ball out from the back, and that's the way we play. And then, I agree with what Mary said. I think we are going to sell him in summer. I think it is the right move for him personally, just to go out and explore first in football on a daily basis, and be the goalkeeper for a Premier League team or a top 5 team. So he's a great player. I don't want Adrian to be our second best keeper. I like the guy, but I mean, the drop off is just too steep for me. But yeah.
Yeah, and again, you know, I think most people would certainly agree, and we've indicated with all of these comments in the stream as well. So thank you so much all for joining us, and do keep your comments flowing. I will try to get as many up as possible. Thank you so much, Jen, for your super sticker, keeping the channel afloat as always. Thank you very, very much. Not just for the super stickers, but your insight as well. It is pretty unrivaled on this channel. So thank you very much indeed. Let's talk about the defence then, because we have seen the return of one Robertson and also Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, I'm sure, as everybody is aware, Conor Bradley has received, you know, an absolute hammer blow to the heart of him, and his father unfortunately passed away today. Conor Bradley, I wanted to talk about before this came up, because for me, he's been man of the match for the past couple of games, easily, like absolutely hands down. One of my most favourite things that I've been banding around social media, and especially to my friends this week, is that no Manchester United player has more assists than Conor Bradley. And Conor Bradley has only played 2 Premier League games this season. It's such sad news, and I'm sure, you know, everybody at the channel wishes him and his family all the very, very best. But Matty, talking about Conor Bradley, like, how impressive has he been? He I can't explain it. He just looks like a Trent regen. He just looks so comfortable on the ball, off the ball, in his attacking prowess and his defensive prowess. We saw him actually use his strength the other day absolutely fantastically when he was just holding players off. This lad's 20 years old. He's just turned 20. How impressive has he been for you?
He's been unbelievable, to be honest. I've followed him for a few years, obviously, because I do watch a lot of the academy games, and he's one of many in that academy who are just, you can see the train to play that Liverpool away from such a young age. The plethora of talent we've got in our academy is quite scary, to be honest. And I kept an eye on him last year at Bolton, and he done well there. And you always think, can he make the the jump up. It's like Kwanzaa. He was brilliant in the academy because I had a mistake in him, but he's excelled another level coming in this year. And he had a League One loan as well, didn't he, to Bristol last season. So they've both really developed in the lower leagues of England, which is nice to see, really, that we're loaning the players out and they are using him as a good opportunity. But since he's came in, I didn't expect that this level of performances from him. Like, I knew he was good, but he's one of them you think, is he going to be there or thereabout this year? Then he gets maybe a Championship or Premier League loan next year, but we couldn't afford to loan him out next year. I personally think if he didn't get his news today, which is heartbreaking, I couldn't imagine losing my father, especially unexpectedly. I think there's an argument to say he keeps Trent out the team at right back at the minute. Now, Trent is probably, or he is the best distributor of the ball, in my opinion. There's only really Kevin De Bruyne in the bracket of Trent in world football, but I would just then have to say we'd have to move Trent up, I think, and that's credit to Bradley, really, and the fact that Liverpool will probably have to finally move Trent up. He's been that good, and for me, he's better than Trent defensively. I think he's got more of a defender instinct in him, and that's no gripe on Trent either, because although Trent's played his whole senior career at right back, he is a born midfielder. You can see that, and everyone's calling for that. So I think Bradley's done no harm in coming in and making the space his own. The only one I really feel sorry for is Calvin Ramsey, because he isn't getting a sniff now.
Yeah, I was going to bring in Calvin Ramsey because obviously he was seen as, you know, the person to be that backup to Trent and maybe make that position his own as well. But Conor Bradley's just come in and blown everybody out of the water. You know, Ramsey obviously had that really unfortunate injury, which has set him back a bit. He's been doing okay, though, out on loan. But at the same time, you know, Conor Bradley's just come in, and Chad, he's been an absolute sensation, Conor Bradley. And I do agree with Matty. I think Conor Bradley started tomorrow. He might still. I don't know. I've not seen any news to say that he's on compassionate leave. If he is, absolutely, you know, fair play to him, because obviously his father's most likely in Northern Ireland. And again, if Bradley wants to go home, you know, that's it. You know, football is second to family, and Klopp has always said that too. You know, so it's completely up to this young man what he decides to do, and I wouldn't begrudge him either way, whatever he chooses. But for me, if he is available, I'm starting him tomorrow.
No, 100%. I completely agree with what Matty said. I mean, if you just watch the game against Chelsea, he dominated his side. He plays very similar to. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on behind me, but that just shows how great Conor Bradley is. The police are coming for him. But against Chelsea, he looks so comfortable in that position. Every time he plays, he looks comfortable. He looks brilliant. He plays a lot like Robertson, where he does the job on the wide and he stays on his position and he keeps on going up and down. You know, he's great in defense, like Matty said. He's great in attack. He has the awareness to see the players inside him in the ball against for Jota. He understands how to progress the game forward, and he understands that the players are inside. And so, for me, we would have started against Arsenal 100%. My heart and my condolences go out to him and his family, obviously. You know, it's always tough losing a family member, especially your father. But if he's available to play tomorrow again, 100% start him. I think there's Calvin Ramsey is, you know, he was the next guy up, but unfortunately with the injuries, he's gone down a bit. Even Seth van der Berg, he was playing at right back for Preston a lot of last season. He looked really decent, and then he went to Mainz, Schalke, and he looked decent there as well. So there was an option of him also coming back and being that kind of Joe Gomez kind of centre back that can play right back position. I do hope that he gets more opportunities during the season. I do hope that he gets more opportunities to show that he can move Trent to the midfield. He is the guy to move Trent to the midfield position. But he's an incredible talent, and I just wish him the best.
Yeah, and I echo your sentiments there. I think it was really well said. And as Jay said, it might be too much a day too much of an ask a day after losing your father. Again, we don't know the mindset of this. You know, we're all different. Everybody's different. For me, I'm playing and I'm going to play for my dad, you know. But again, everybody's different. I'm just saying that, you know, things work out, and it is completely up to Conor, and we wish him all the very, very best, and his family too. Let's talk about the left-back position dead quick then, because Robbo came back in. I personally think it's going to take a little bit more than Robbo just coming back in to dislodge Joe Gomez. Matty, how impressive has Gomez been for you this season? I said about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think that Gomez is our unsung hero of the season.
Absolutely. And who would have thought that at the start of the year, really? But the year we won the league, he was pivotal as well that season. So there's just so many similarities, really. But I don't think Robbo walks back into the team. I love Andy Robertson. I'm one of his biggest fans. I love any Scottish footballer who wears that Liverpool shirt, to be honest with you. But he's unbelievable, Andy Robertson. But you can't just take Joe Gomez out because he's back when Gomez has got that match fitness. He's been playing really, really, really well. In my eyes, he's undroppable. And he's made that left back position his own, to be fair to him. So I think because tomorrow's game's at Arsenal, you do stick with Gomez just because he's got that match fitness in him. He's up to speed with the team. Yeah, Robbo's back, but he's had such a big layoff. You don't want to rush him back anyway. Just play Robbo against Burnley. There's plenty of games to go this year where we'll be needing all the players. But for tomorrow, Joe Gomez has to start.
Jad, do you agree with Matty there? I certainly do.
No, 100%. I mean, you saw every time Robertson comes back onto the field. I mean, the game against Chelsea and then on the weekend, the team dynamic and the cohesion is not there at the moment because of the way that Gomez plays. He plays as an inverted left back. Thanks to, again, Conor Bradley, because he stays on the wing and he stays wide. So Gomez is a bit able to play in that inverted position. It's going to be a little bit different when Trent comes because you can't both have the left back and the right back inverting. So again, hoping that Conor does play tomorrow. That will just allow the cohesion of the team and allow the back four to continue to do what they've been doing. I mean, Gomez looks brilliant in that left back position. He looks brilliant in the right back position. There's even opportunity of him going to the right back and then, giving Trent a little bit more time to recover from his injury and allowed Robertson, because he has been playing a little bit more than Trent. He did come back a little bit earlier than Trent, so he might have that little bit more match fitness. And then you can play Robertson on the left and have Gomez on the right and still have that inverted kind of player. But it's down to selection tomorrow. I mean, honestly, I feel like the team gels will much better with Gomez in the team just because of his capabilities on the ball as well as defensively. I think he looks solid in defense. I think not a lot of people run past him and not a lot of people get through him. Progressing the ball forward, he's very comfortable on the ball. We've seen that. And he can put a ball into the box. So there's not a lot of how can I say, disadvantages to not starting Joe Gomez on Sunday compared to the disadvantage of having Andy Robertson just coming back from injury, still trying to get his game back into gear. So yeah, for me, Gomez has been, like you guys said, unsung hero. I think he's been the most improved player of the season. I think he's up there for our player of the season. But yeah, hopefully he starts tomorrow and hopefully he has a good game.
And hopefully for Jay, who has a 5 on Gomez scoring, he breaks his duck and does score. He does look like he's going to score quite soon. It is quiz time. So get pens, papers, iPads, iPhones, whatever it is that you need ready. And from everybody at home as well, please do make sure that you contribute. Please make sure that you put in, your answers to the chat too, because you might just beat these two. But do not press enter. Do not press enter. One more time. Do not press enter until the time is up. Okay. What I'm looking for is the match preview. It is Arsenal versus Liverpool tomorrow. It's an absolute humdinger of a game. And it's a game that's provided quite a lot of goals. However, it's also a game that has provided quite a lot of sensational players, some who have played for both Liverpool and Arsenal. So the first round of the quiz tonight is my favourite round. It's the double agents. What Matty and Chad's task and yours at home task is to name as many double agents, so that's players who have played for both Liverpool and Arsenal, as you can in 1 minute. There are some obvious ones. I've just been looking at the list and there are some not so obvious ones as well. But again, it's a good one. There are quite a lot of them. We did this with Liverpool and Luton and there wasn't actually too many. But this one is. Oh, by the way, your time started. I'm just putting in the awkward silences. So your time has started. It's 1 minute and I'm looking for players who have played for Liverpool and Arsenal. And, there is a rich history between these two clubs. They are always in amongst the silverware. Liverpool have a dry spell Arsenal have a dry spell, but they're always competing. And I do think that this game is so important for tomorrow. We'll get into it in a little while. But it's such a big game. And some of these players for both Liverpool and Arsenal have been absolute big players too. So you've got 20 seconds. I'm looking for as many Liverpool and Arsenal players who have played for each other as possible. Don't press enter, everybody at home, until Matty and Chad have given their answers, because they will steal your answers. Because they're cheaters. They'll steal your answers.
Yeah.
Okay, we've just gone over. That's 1 minute and 5 seconds. So, Matty, how many players did you get?
1.
You got 1. Chad, how many did you get?
I got 2.5. I'm not
2.5?
sure about the third one. Yeah, I'm not sure
Only
about
their
the
legs.
third one.
Only their legs played, maybe. Okay, right. Go on then, Chad. You can go first.
So I got Ox, obviously, and then I got Nicholas Anelka. And,
Correct.
Yuri, I don't know how to say his name. Yuri Patch. I can't get his name. But I know you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. You mean Yossi Benayoun?
Yes, that's the one. Thank you.
Yeah. So Yossi Benayoun. Matty?
I only got the Ox.
The Ox. Okay, so running through it. Yeah, I know, me too. And that was actually one that surprised me. And there's another one that really surprised me, and I'll go through it in a moment. Nicholas Anelka, Liverpool's, I think, the biggest name that they let get away. Yeah, the biggest name they let get away, because he was phenomenal. And that was a massive slip up, especially as it's when El Hadji Diouf came in instead of him. So just
I think
really
it
took
was
us when it's
on
down.
loan by us.
Yeah, he was on loan, and we could have signed him. Anelka wanted to stay, but then El Hadji Diouf had a all right World Cup, and the rest is history, or spit story. Anelka, Benayoun, Jimmy Carter, Abraham Foxhill, Jim Furnell, Dave Hanna, Abraham Hartley, John Hunter, Brian Jackson, Ray Kennedy, Peter Kyle. I'm going to save the one that I completely forgot about until last. Andrew McCowie, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, obviously Jermaine Pennant, well done, because I saw some people mentioning that in there. Michael Thomas, who destroyed Liverpool Hearts in 1989, actually did sign for us afterwards. Kolo Toure, absolute cult hero at Liverpool. And the one that completely escaped my mind, and I was like, no way did he play for Liverpool, Alex Manninger, the goalkeeper, signed for Liverpool after being somewhat of a cult hero actually at Arsenal. He did actually sign for Liverpool afterwards as well. So Alex Manninger joined Liverpool on a short-term deal in July 2016 to provide goalkeeping cover for Simon Mignolet and Loris Karius. So that's round 1 done. Let's talk about the midfield then, because lots of midfielders are coming back. Lots of people are very excited about the Thiago training video, and obviously the comments that Klopp have said. Matty, talk to us about our midfield, because actually our midfield is our engine this season, and it's such an antithesis of what we saw last year. Our midfield, actually, I'm really proud of.
Yeah, our midfield's unbelievable. And the fact we've changed the midfield and went into a title charge in one season it's unheard of, really. Your midfield is such an important position. Thiago's training video, I was salivating watching it. I can't wait to have him back. The only downside for me with Thiago being back is Curtis Jones won't play. Like, our strongest midfield on like games, say Manchester City at home in a few weeks, Thiago needs to start that game. So he starts it over, no matter who's in form, he needs to start that game. Or even just off the bench, I'd agree with what Paul's saying there, like Jones being our most important midfielder. I do believe that. I think he's one of the first midfielders on the team sheet. But Thiago, for me, is one of the best 5 midfielders in world football when fit. It's just that when fit thing that worries you with him. But Endo's back probably for Burnley, you'd assume. And then there's only Bajcetic to come back. But you're thinking, like, which one gets dropped? Because Jones has been unbelievable this season. Szoboszlai's been fantastic. McAllister, for me, has been an unbelievable 6 for a fella who doesn't really play there. I think he's undroppable in the 6. Endo, when he was there, was undroppable. So you sat there thinking, where are they all gonna fit? It's mad because Thiago does need to play. It'll be interesting to see what we do, whether he comes in off the bench, because you look at some of the draws we've had this season and think, if Thiago come off the bench in them games, could we have got 3 points? And I'd probably argue yet. So I think maybe he could maybe be a bench option and be that luxury midfielder that we wanted him to be. Maybe that's what Klopp's seeing him as, which I wouldn't be against, because it means Jones gets to play and it's bossy and all the Jones love. I used to get so much hate talking about Curtis Jones in these comments, so it's so good to see some Jones love. But yeah, I wouldn't be against Thiago being a bench player and coming off, because I think he can win your games. If you got a horrible 0-0 draw, I think he can pick that pass out that wins you the game. So we're looking very strong business end of the season now. We're very strong. I'm loudly confident we'll win all 4.
I harbour the burden of the Jones hate as well. I think we did both. You so more than me, but I also was said that Curtis Jones, Prince of Merseyside, and I'm so glad that he's a Genie 0.2 for me. You know, it was one of those that you and I had so many conversations actually about, where does he fit? Does he fit on the left? Does he fit in the 6? Does he fit as the 8? I think that role now that he's playing, that transition role, the in between the lines, I think that role is made for him. He's and how good has he been defensively? I think Klopp made comments the other day saying, if Curtis Jones can learn how to defend, then anyone can.
Yeah, don't forget, before he came into the senior team, he was a 10. So you're teaching a player who's only known how to attack and be creative to defend, and he's been fantastic. He's, in my opinion, probably the best presser in the team. He's always there. Like when you watch him, he's always where the ball is. He's absolutely everywhere. And finally, the large portions of the fan base are seeing how important he is, because when them games where we dipped in form this year and got a few draws and that, Jones weren't playing. He's so important. He's so important. And Klopp knows that. So many coaches he's worked with. Steven Gerrard, yeah, he's not the best manager, but he's the best midfielder I've seen in my life. And he said he's got it. So people were like, if Klopp and Gerrard are both saying there's something about him, people should have believed him a little bit sooner. But it's nice to see him getting that love. And you can see he's reveling in it. He's getting that confidence. He's scoring goals now as well. So fair play to him. I couldn't praise him enough, honestly. He deserves everything. And for me, the best compliment you can ever pay him is the fact he probably is first name on the team sheet for us now. It's just so hard when everyone's there where you play people, because then you look at Bajcetic, and if he comes back in the form that he was in prior to his injury, he was one of our best midfielders. So then it's a good headache to have, because last season you were sat there with like no options. To have this headache with after one season, people still said we had a bad window last year, and I think we had a fantastic transfer summer, to be honest with you, because look at the side. It's unbelievable. I'm excited. Although Jurgen's going, I'm excited to see where this side goes, because they're all young, hungry, and they could win a league and have Premier League winning experience before they even go and work under a new manager, which is fantastic.
And that is so important. I think the introduction as a Bosley, I think if you look at everything, it's actually worked in Jones's favour, because it's taken the onus off his attacking, you know, where he doesn't just have to attack and break through the lines, because the Bosley can do that. McAllister can sit as that 6, where we have seen Jones actually sit as the 6 beforehand. I don't think that's his strength. I do think he needs to be that Genie type player. And it was exactly like when Genie wasn't playing, you know, in midfield, and he got so much, like, I just think he went under the radar. And I think Juni Wijnaldum was so underrated, but it's the work rate of the team that Jones and Wijnaldum do that allows the McAllister and the Szoboszlais and the Salas and the Nunezes to do what they do, you know. So Chad, I mean, coming to you now, does it look as though, you know, your midfield 3, even if Thiago's fit, he'll probably come in off the bench? Gravenberch, you know, as Paul's quite rightly said, absolutely talented, but is your midfield 3 that Macca's the 6, the Bosley and Jones?
I agree with a lot of what Mario was saying, but I think that Jones has to be a nail-on starter. You know, looking at all the midfielders that are coming back from injury, with Thiago getting added in, you look at that and you look at the pool that we have. Then that question starts to come: who's the nailed-on starter? Because at the beginning of the season, or most of the beginning of the season, it was Szoboszlai. He's the nailed-on starter. He's the only one that you can't replace on that team. he's the first one that goes onto the team sheet. Then the season started progressing. You see Macca coming and you see McAllister doing the things that he's been doing at the 6. You thought about Endo and the way he was performing, and he was like, okay, he's the nailed on. He's going to be a nailed on, the first name on the team sheet. And for me at the moment, it has to be Jones, because there's a lot of his game that allows the other players in the midfield, to perform. It allows a lot of the midfield to do their job and to make sure that they can also be themselves as well. I mean, thinking of putting him in that 8 position, when Maka's in that 6th position, he's still allowed to go forward because he knows Curtis is going to drop back. He knows that Curtis is not going to go. He's not going to go with him going forward. He's going to cover his back. Same with Szoboszlai. When Szoboszlai goes forward, he knows that Jones and Maka are going to be the 2 pivots in the position. They're not going to go forward with him. So that means that we're not out of numbers in the midfield. And I feel like with Thiago coming back, I don't think that Thiago is the first. It needs to go directly into the team sheet. Obviously, the Man City game is still a ways away, and he still has time to develop his match fitness and stuff like that. But I still don't think he starts the game for Liverpool. I honestly don't think so. I think that the talent that we have in the midfield is overweighing his ability on the ball and Thiago's ability to control games. I think he is a closer. If you're using that baseball reference, I think he is one of the closing pitchers that comes in and just makes sure he seals the victory, just because he can control the game. But yeah, for me, the 6 is between Maka and Endo. Obviously, I think McAllister has the favor over Endo because he's coming back from the Asian Cup. But he can come back into the team and hold the form that he had before he went to an Asian Cup. I think that the 6th position is Endo's to lose. And then you got Jones has to be on that left side at 8 because, the way he controls the game and the way he controls the pace of the game, the ability to hold the ball at his feet and just wait and allow the other players around him to do what they do best. So for me, that's just he has to be nailed on. And then you got Szoboszlai on the right, and that's where the question mark comes in because he has had his injury and he's coming back from injury. He's still getting back to his match fitness. Yes, he scored against Chelsea, but you need to start thinking about who's the best player for what game, because we are going into that, that deep end of the competitions now. So games are going to be coming thick and fast. So that question now is how are you going to rotate and who are you going to put in those rotations and who's the first name on the team sheet. And for me, in the midfield, it has to be Jones and it has to be McAllister at the moment.
And I think Matty nailed it on the head when he said Liverpool have 28, 29 games left of the season. There's so much time yet. We're halfway through, which sounds crazy because we're in February, but we're actually halfway through our season if we make every cup final. And I don't see any reason why we can't do that unless we come up against a really good City team away from home in the FA Cup. I can really think that we should reach every cup final as well as the league. So it certainly will be interesting. I think that Endo-Mac situation at 6, I think that's only going to be for the best. Same as Thiago, he is a finisher for me. I think that Thiago should finish the game coming on at 60. As both of you have said, 60 minutes when you try to unpick that defence and you're not relying on him then too much. And he can be that luxury player, that Rolls Royce player that Jurgen Klopp brought him in for. Let's do our second round then of the quiz. And it is a Liverpool-Arsenal quiz. And what I will do is I'm looking for goal scorers. Okay, so I'm looking for the top 5 goal scorers who have scored the most goals in this fixture. Now, you can name Arsenal players or Liverpool players. There's a top 5 for Arsenal and a top 5 for Liverpool with the most goals against the opposition. Okay, so the top 5 players for Liverpool plus the top 5 players for Arsenal. All right, so you can get a maximum of 10 points. Everybody else at home, please do, as I've said, by the way, your time started, you got 1 minute. Everybody else at home, please obviously hold your answers until they have said how many they've got and who they've got. All right, so you can use Arsenal or Liverpool players. I used to be really harsh actually and just say just Liverpool players because we're the only team that matter, but I will extend it. Arsenal and Liverpool, like I said before, rich history against each other. If anyone got 10 out of 10, I'll give you my house. Like, you can have it because I'm pretty sure that you won't, but you can have my house if anybody gets 10 out of 10. Okay, there is a tricky one, but actually, if you use your noggin, you might get a couple. And I'm glad, Jay, that you enjoy the quiz. I certainly do, and I don't think the lads do though. But it's all right; it's fine. Right, last 10 seconds. Top 5 for Liverpool, top 5 for Arsenal. Who are the players who scored the most goals against each other? And your time's up. So, Chad, you won the last round. How many have you got this round?
I think I've got 6, maybe
So
7.
you've got, okay. So how many have you got written down? 7?
I've got 7.
7. Okay, Matty, how many have you got?
I've wrote 8 down, but it's just a complete stab in the dark.
That's all right. Okay, so Matty, you can go first. Jay says that we need Kev for the quiz. Kev and Neil are really actually good at the quizzes. So yeah, absolutely. I met Kev actually at the Brentford game, and I said, "Oh, come on, we'll get you involved in the Saturday night quizzes." And I don't think he's spoken to me since, which I don't know why. Right, Matty, give us your 8 players then.
Henri.
Correct.
I've said Andre Arshavin just because he got 4 in a game, so I'm just a stab in the dark with him.
Okay, so he's not on the list, but yeah, it was a good shout because he the celebration of the 4. Obviously, did nothing else since then, but there we go.
I'll just stick with the Arsenal ones first. Lacazette.
Nope.
Or Bergkamp.
No, Bergkamp's a good shout. I think he's in the top 7.
And then Liverpool have done Stevie.
Stevie's not in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jota. He loves a goal
Nope.
against Arsenal. Wow.
He's probably not far off though.
Fowler
is the top Liverpool and with 12 goals and 17 appearances. Fastest hat trick. It was. I used to love watching that back with Fowler 23 on the back. That was sensational.
Unreal. And then the last one I done was Suarez, just again stab in the dark.
No
Suarez. So how many did you get?
2.
Chad, what's your list?
So I got Henri.
Yep.
Very good. I've got Salah.
Yeah, Salah's in there with 9 goals in 15 appearances.
There we go. Okay. I got Firmino.
Yeah, Bobby's actually in there with 11. He scored more than Salah. He's the joint second. He's only 1 behind Robbie Fowler in 18 appearances.
And then obviously Jota is wrong. And then Arshavin is also wrong. And then our last 2 was Torres and Van Persie.
No to both of them. So Arsenal's top goal scorers: Joe Hume, Thierry Henry, Jimmy Brain, John Radford, and the one that you would have got was Ian Wright.
I didn't think
why didn't you think about that?
Yeah, seven goals in 14. For Liverpool, we topped the charts with God, 12 goals in 17 appearances. Joint second to Bobby Firmino was actually own goals. Arsenal have scored 11. Arsenal have scored 11 own goals against us. 11, which is brilliant, you know. So yeah, Arsenal have scored 11 own goals against us. Salah with 9 and Gordon Hodgson with 9 as well. Salah and Hodgson actually have both got 9 goals in 15 appearances against each other, so they're dead level.
I can't believe Stevie G's not in there, you know.
Yeah, not in the top 5 according to LFC history.
Easily, like, you're talking 20, 30 games against Arsenal, wouldn't he? Over his career. I can't believe that. It's even like Salah outscored him in the Champions League as well. That blew me mad. Because it just felt like Steve always scored.
I know. So Stevie was close to the top 5. He's got 6 against Arsenal.
How many games he played against, does it say?
In all competitions. 2 seconds, if you just bear with me.
6.
So, yeah, he's got 6 against Arsenal. And again, but, you know, when you Stevie, it depends, doesn't it? Because
suppose he played all them years, didn't he? When Henry absolutely terrorised us.
But I suppose also it's quite tricky when if he was playing deep, you know, when he had to play deep. I'm sure if he played like that 8 and 10 role against him every time, he would have notched a few more. Yeah. But he played 34 times against Arsenal. He got 6 goals and 9 assists.
Wow. I always thought he played well against Arsenal, but that's not the best return, is it, for Stevie G? Like, and only 15 goal involvements, and I'm proper shocked at that.
Aston Villa obviously is the one who scored the most goals against, then Everton, and then Man United. So that's not a bad second and third, is it? If you're gonna choose the top three, as long as those two are in there. Well, we're on Stevie actually. Dead weird. This Bolton is his top 6. Bolton.
They was in the Prem for a few months, weren't they?
Yeah, 7 goals and 9 assists. Newcastle 8 goals and 10 assists, and West Ham 9 goals and 4 assists. Man City 6 goals and 10 assists. So he did like playing against Man City as well.
Yeah, he was the man for the big game, Stevie, and he loved a big game.
Yeah, absolutely. His best goal ratio was against the New Saints, where he's only played them twice and he scored 5. So there we go. There's a bit of Steve. We love a bit of Stevie. Matty and Chad and I and everyone at Liverpool, I'm sure, absolutely adore Stevie G. He's best player I've ever seen in the Liverpool shirt.
100%.
And probably best I ever will see, if I'm honest, unless someone sensational comes along. I think Trent could rival him, but for me, Stevie, I think, is still the diamond there. Right, let's move on to the attack then as we're winding down. It was said that Darwin Núñez left Anfield in a boot, and not the sort of boot that you want him to be in, i.e. a football boot, because his foot was a little bit swollen. It's not. It is so funny, isn't it? Because I love Núñez. I think he's, at the moment, him and Jota are indispensable to the football club. I think that they've got to be first, second names on the team sheet, apart from Alisson, Van Dijk, etc. But certainly in that front line. But I'm not worried if he comes off the bench, because Darwin off the bench is just as, if not more lethal, especially in a cauldron that will be the Emirates, especially in such a high pressured game. That emotion that's going to come out of him in the last 30, 20 minutes. I actually don't mind him coming off the bench, and I don't mind him, coming on for Gakpo. And do you know what? I also don't mind Gakpo starting, because he's going to put the hard miles in, and he's going to wear that defense of Saliba and Gabriel, who do look vulnerable. It's quite funny, isn't it, that everyone says about Saliba being the best centre-back in the world, or certainly in the Premier League. Matty, when it comes to Darwin Núñez, does it really matter if he starts? Does it really matter if he comes off the bench? I mean, I certainly don't think it does. Do you have a different opinion? Do you think he's better off starting or coming off the bench?
I'd like to see him start tomorrow, to be honest. I think he will run like Ben White ragged. I think if you got him to just target Ben White and just make all his runs off the back of him, I think when you look at Arsenal's defence, none of them are really lightning fast either, which he is. And I think Liverpool finally clicked with the strength of Darwin, is just ping it over the top and he will get onto it. Yeah, he's offside about 600 times a game, but he does have them chances. And I was thinking about this when he said he come off with a boot. Then we've seen him in training, and it did look a bit swollen on the pictures, but he's still trained. I wouldn't be surprised if we give him a famous old injection tomorrow to get him through tomorrow, because then even if he was to miss the games before the final, Mo Salah's probably going to be back for Burnley, I reckon. But it's Burnley at home, so you can then go into that game without Salah and Jota if you wanted. Then we've got Brentford, which Salah probably definitely will be back for. Then Luton, then the final. So I think it gives you a few games where he could recover. We know that players will have an injection like their ankles and stuff to make them feel no pain and play through the pain. And I think tomorrow is very, very important, just because we haven't got Salah and you want that pace. Jota, I think I've seen this week, his nickname's the Ghost. And it's perfect for him, really. So I think with Darwin against defences, no one knows what to do with him. That's the difference. And without Salah playing, we haven't got anyone of real pace, really. I mean, Gakpo's quite quick, but he's not Darwin quick. And it's the same with Jota. And I think if you played with, say, Diaz, Jota and Gakpo, you're just adding that extra yard of pace into the side by playing Darwin. And then the next few games, you can rest them. We know Salah's going to be back. So that's then where you can then give Darwin a rest, really, and rotate your options a little bit more. But for me, tomorrow, he has to start. I think tomorrow, during that United game where we won the league, that game when Salah took his top off, I know Arsenal are further below us than City. For me, tomorrow, maintaining that 5-point gap on City after playing Chelsea and Arsenal back to back, I think tomorrow is that Man United game where if we win tomorrow, you think, right, all right, yeah, we probably could win this league.
It's such a massive, massive game. Like, you know, and it essentially knocks Arsenal out of the title race too. It does make it a two-horse race, if I'm completely honest. And City have got to come to an absolute rapturous Anfield that it will be on the 7th, 8th of March, you know, whenever they decide. And City won't know what's hit them. It's Klopp's last game against City, most likely, certainly is in the league. Unless we get them, obviously, in the FA Cup, it's going to be his last game against Pep. So that's just going to be absolutely rapturous. And I think it's really important that Liverpool don't lose, if that makes sense. Because I think even if we come away with a draw, I still think we've got the momentum. I think a loss perhaps knocks a little bit of wind out of ourselves. Why is he nicknamed the Ghost?
Because he's just missing for the whole game and pops up and scores.
Is that the lads who have called him that?
Yeah, I've seen it all over Twitter. Apparently, Jones is the one who that's his new nickname. It's come from Curtis Jones, but it's so accurate because I've always said Jota's better off the bench, but he just goes unrecognised for the whole game and then crops up and scores. It's just what he does, and he's a bit to me, probably a little bit like Robbie Fowler anyway. He's just
Michael Owen used to do it. Yeah, Michael Owen needs to be like that.
He's scoring, so I love Jota. Proper love Jota. He's perfect at what he does, and he does start tomorrow, but. Darwin. For me, it's Jota, Diaz, Darwin.
Yeah, and I think Diaz on that right hand side is just fit like a glove. I think he's been brilliant, and I'm really glad. Not that just that obviously the game that Nunes captain Chaos had in midweek against Chelsea. I'm not just glad that he got the assist, but I'm glad that Diaz obviously got the goal too because he worked so hard for that team and he's had one hell of a year as well. Chad, let's talk about Gakpo then because. Like I said, for me, I really don't mind if Nunes comes off the bench against a tiring Arsenal defence. Even if they brought on the likes of Tomiyasu, I still think he would absolutely, you know, even with Tomiyasu's fresh legs, rip and run brings around him. But what does Gakpo offer? If it is Gakpo who's going to start top, if Darwin's not taking that magic injection or that magic puff of the inhaler, what is it that Gakpo can do instead?
It's a tough one with Gakpo's selection because that means that you have to shift Jota to the wing just because of the pace difference. I don't think Gakpo has the pace to cause damage on the wing. He's more of a guy that'll get the ball at his feet back against the defender and then play play between the lines, that kind of thing. I think that's Gakpo in a team. And then with Jota, you have Jota on the wing, he can cut inside. They can do the rotation that they did against Chelsea where, you know, Jota's 1 minute in the center and then he's on the right, then he's on the left, and then you got Diaz on, you know, Diaz is moving inside and he's moving to the far right side of the field. So with Gakpo in the team, what he does is he has the ability to pull the defenders, the two centre backs, because he plays as a kind of false nine and he likes to play between the lines of the midfield and the attack. He'll be able to pull the defense coming with him, and so that'll create gaps for Jota or for Diaz to, you know, kind of run in behind and cause trouble like that. So it's a lot different with Gakpo in the team. Gakpo does keep the ball at his feet, like we've been saying. But recently, we've been watching Gakpo. He's taking a lot of shots. He's taking a lot of initiative to get the ball forward and get the ball into the danger areas. So it's a toss-up. But yeah, I think Diaz and Jota have to start against Arsenal, whether it's Nunez or whether it's Gakpo. I personally think that Klopp will play Gakpo and then have Nunez come off the bench just because he's thinking ahead, even though we are having a kind of a weaker period after the Arsenal game. You know, you got Brentford, you got Burnley, then Brentford, then Luton. So the games that are coming up, you know, it gives them options to not play the full force of Liverpool's attack. You know, so I think Gakpo comes in tomorrow. I think he does a job on Gabriel. I think that's the weaker link out of the two centre backs. I think he sits on Gabriel. He makes sure that he moves Gabriel where he wants him to go, and allows the two wingers to cut inside and cause problems for Saliba. And we know that you know, Arsenal's wing backs are not the best in the business. You know, they're not the fastest, especially with White on the left hand side. He's not the quickest out there. So there's a lot of options that we can cause problems for Arsenal tomorrow, especially with Gakpo in the team. But yeah, hopefully that Nunez is not a big issue. It's not a niggling issue. Hopefully it's just a nummy kind of situation. And like Medic says, he can just have that magic sauce tomorrow and be able to play for us.
Jays, that's a good question. Would you take a draw? Yes or no? Matty?
No.
I mean, if I'd rather draw than defeat, but I think we're better than Arsenal. I think we're in good form. I think we need to keep that 5-point gap. City having Kevin De Bruyne back, if he stays fit, is
And Haaland coming back.
Yeah, we need to keep them 5 points because you can sure as hell guarantee Man City will drop next to none at any point from now till the end of the year. They're always after Christmas, aren't they? City, they're unbelievable in the business end. Just what they do.
Yeah, I was going to say after it tends to be like January onwards, don't lose, and that's what they do. And especially now they're getting Kevin De Bruyne, probably one of the best midfielders, if not the best midfielders at the moment in the world. To come back in, and Haaland, we know how deadly he is as well. Let's last round then of the quiz. What I'm going to ask instead of goal scorers, I'm going to ask for the top 5 Arsenal players with the most appearances against Liverpool and the top 5 Liverpool players with the most appearances against Arsenal. Okay, so there is a maximum of 10 that you can achieve. Your time starts now. 1 minute. And, like I said, just asking. Top 5 players with the most appearances for Arsenal against Liverpool and for Liverpool against Arsenal. Now, if you know your history, you will know probably most of these Liverpool players, if I'm honest. Okay, there shouldn't be anyone in there who gives you a little bit of a wobble. I think perhaps one in there might. But overall, you should be okay. It's the Arsenal players. But actually, these Arsenal players, apart from one, I've heard of all 5 of them. So hopefully you guys do too. Okay. And again, please don't put any of the answers into the chat until these guys have said theirs. So, Tom, you said Ray Parlour. That's not Ray Parlour. Okay, Ray Parlour has not had or not been in the top 5 against Liverpool. Okay, but at the same time, let's not put any answers into the chat. Okay, your time is up. That has been 1 minuto. Chad, how many have you got?
I got 5.
You got 5. Okay, Matty, how many have you got?
I've wrote 9 down.
Okay, right. Let's go with Matty, and then obviously, Chad, if you can, just tick as you go. Matty, off you go.
Gerrard.
Correct. 34 appearances, and as we said earlier, 6 goals.
Carragher.
Carragher is the top with 36 appearances, no goals, but I was at the game where he did manage to donk a fan with a coin and got sent off for it as well.
Fowler.
Fowler's not in there.
And then I've got Hendo.
Not Hendo.
And Bobby.
Not Bobby.
And in Arsenal, I've got Henry.
He's not in there.
Wow. Seaman.
Nope.
Oh my God. Perez.
Nope.
Colo.
Not Colo, but you're getting closer with your defenders.
Yeah, well, that's all over down. So I've got all the Arsenal ones wrong. I'm very surprised at them, though.
Yeah. Chad?
I've got Gerrard and obviously Fowler wrong. Ian Rush.
Ian Rush isn't in there, actually. That was a really good shout, though.
Hodgson.
Nope.
And Souness.
No. So
I went kind of old school.
Yeah, well, there is
old school vibe.
Yeah, you're sort of close though with the Souness shout. You've got Carragher, Gerrard, Callahan. So Ian Callahan obviously is in there. Alan Hansen. Hansen is your centre back that you're looking for, and I think the one that would have thrown me is Ray Clements.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that was 31 appearances and up. Yeah. For Arsenal, you've got David O'Leary, who's actually tops the charts by any Arsenal or Liverpool player with 44 appearances. Lee Dixon, Tony Adams, and Nigel Winterburn. They all are. So basically, and any Arsenal defender apart from the ones probably that you said of Martin Keown,
Well,
and then George. Yeah, and then George, Tony Adams, and then George Armstrong, who I generally don't know who that is. So he has 27.
The only one I really remember from them is Tony Adams, but I don't know how I didn't get that because he was there for years.
Yeah, Dixon as well. Dixon, Adams, Winterburn. That was your famous back four, really, with Martin Keown, I suppose, in there as well. So there we go. Well done to everybody else who has contributed too. Please do make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for the 10,000 subscribers. I believe, Matty, that there's a quiz on Wednesday, is there?
Yeah, I think so. I think James is hosting a quiz. I'll probably get robbed again. I got robbed in every bloody quiz, but there's a 10k quiz on Wednesday, 7 o'clock. I think there's 10 people in it. I don't know how he's going to do that, but I think there's.
I also don't know how, when I do a quiz every Saturday, I've not been asked to be a quiz master. So for anybody else literally watching this, I do a quiz every Saturday. I'm coming for you. All right. So if that's Matty, Dan, Stephen, Charlie.
I think it's James because it's just the day he hosts the stream. To be fair, I'll just be hard, but I don't even know who's on it. I think that's just going to get sorted next week. But I know it's definitely a stream on Wednesday. They're usually fun, them quizzes, though. They are fun. And to be honest, you'd rather be a guest on them than sitting there as the quizmaster. They're quite interesting.
Yeah, see, I don't mind sitting as a quizmaster on a Saturday because like I've said, I've just looked at a couple of those answers. Like, never in a million years would I've got some of those. So I sometimes don't mind it as well. But if I'm not on that show as a quizmaster or even as a participant, I'm coming for you all. Right, match predictions then. Let's go for it. Matty, what's your predictions for tomorrow?
4-1 Liverpool.
You're going 4-1. Do you want to name a goal scorer?
Curtis Jones. Always have to say him. Darwin Núñez. And Jota's going to get 2.
Jota the Slotter. Chad?
My prediction throughout the whole week was going to be 2-1, but I think it might be a 3-2 kind of situation. A last-minute goal by Jota. I think Jota has to score. I give Diaz and Gakpo a goal. If not an own goal by Arsenal.
Own goals. They love an own goal. They love it, don't they? They'd go top. They'd go top. They'd go joint top with Robbie Fowler for own goals. I'd love a Saliba own goal. Just to really twist the knife in.
The last game that we played, they actually scored an own goal against us. Wasn't it? The when they wore the white kit. They scored an own goal.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about the league game. Yeah, I was thinking about in the league game. I'm going to go for a reverse of the league game. Actually, I'm going to go Desi 2-2, and I know that's going to make a lot of people unhappy. But do you know what? I would take a draw, just to keep that momentum going. I'll take a draw. I think it will be 2-2, and I do think that it'll be an absolute barnstormer of a game. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I want to say a massive thank you to Matty and Chad as well for making my life easier and being so insightful on the podcast, I was going to say, but on the stream. So thank you to Matty and to Chad, and thank you everyone else at home as well. I really hope you enjoy the game tomorrow, and I really do hope that we're here next week celebrating another win. Okay, so enjoy the quiz on Wednesday. Hopefully see you there. And, thanks to the 10,000 subscribers, do hit the likes and subscribes. But from now and until forever, you'll never walk alone, and up the Reds.